I've been asked a couple times for my conversion story on here, so I guess here I go. I grew up Christian in Minnesota in like the Lutheran church, with a fairly practicing family. We went to church a lot. I did a lot of, like Bible study classes and things like that. But there were questions I had that I didn't feel were ever answered adequately. And I left the church when I left home at 17 because of issues with my family. And then I went through like a couple years where I was like a hardcore atheist. I was very, very adamantly atheist. And in my early 20s, I kind of shifted into like an agnostic point of view. After my daughter was born in 2015, I became interested again in God, and I had an experience that led me to feel certain that we had a creator. And after that, I started looking into Judaism, like converting to Judaism, but it wasn't quite like right for me. I just didn't feel like it fits. The conversion process is really long, and I just wasn't into that. But I did start to eat kosher. The last time I had any pork products was in 2016, I think. And then I started going into like a Messianic church, like a Messianic temple, where they like, I don't know, sometimes you hear them called like Jews for Jesus. Like they're Christians that like semi follow the Old Testament, or they follow the Old Testament more. I didn't really fit into that either, but I started like doing a deep dive into religions. I did like a yoga teacher training, and I learned a lot about like Indian religions, and I read the Bhagavad Gita. I read the Bible again. I just did a lot of research. I read the Tao Te Ching. And I had been gifted a Quran, but I didn't read it. I don't know, I just wasn't there yet. Like, I read a page and I was like, this is too much like the Bible. But I had a lot of weird experiences at that time in my life. Like, I don't know, I've always been pretty adventurous, and so I have, like, experienced a lot of things. I said in another video, like, I used to hitchhike. So in 2017, at the end of 2017, I went through a really traumatic event, which is also detailed in another video. And I was feeling really lost. I really just didn't know what I was doing with my life or how to like correct it. And so I just got really, really, really spiritual. Like I was trying my best to understand what God was and where God came from, and how to best worship God. At the beginning of 2018, I was working at this bar in Texas, in San Antonio, Texas, and this guy came in, and he was like, hey, my phone died and I'm lost. I'm not from here. Can you help me? Like, can I plug my phone in? And so I can, call an Uber. I was like, yeah, sure, of course. And he like sat down at the bar, and I plugged his phone, and I was like, can I get you something to drink? He was like, yeah, I would love a water. Can I have some water? And I was like, yeah, sure, bud, I got you. I get him his drink of water. And then I was like, can I get you anything else? And he was like, well, maybe a bag of chips. And I was like, okay, here's your chips. And I was like, can I get you anything else? Like, you're in a bar, sir. Would you like a beverage? And he was like, oh, no, I don't drink. I'm a Muslim. And I was like, oh, okay. Up until that point, I had never, met a Muslim who, told me that they were Muslim and, identified anything of the faith to me. So it was, an interesting moment. I didn't really know what to do with it, but we became friends. We started hanging out, and he let me ask him a lot of questions. And so we had a lot of long conversations, and I was already really into learning about religion, so I was very fascinated. I had a lot of questions. And it turned out that a lot of the things that he told me about Islam, like, already aligned with my belief systems, like, just the way that God is one being. So it was just really interesting to me. And then I moved to Nevada for, like, unrelated reasons, but I moved back to Nevada. And there, I was really struggling, and I called him and I was like, hey, like, I need friends. I don't know what to do with myself. And he was like, look, I think that you should pray. Just pray, because I can't help you in this situation other than, like, trying to give you a pep talk, and it's not enough. And so I prayed. I just started praying, and I was like, please, like, God, help me figure this out. Help me, like, figure my life out. And then right after that, I decided I really wanted to go to a mosque and, like, talk to somebody. So one Friday in 2018, I think it was February. I'll have to check the date. I don't know. But it was February, I think. And I took the bus from my apartment to, like, the area of, like, where the closest mosque was. And I really wanted to dress appropriately, but I didn't have a scarf. And so I had, like, tight blue jeans and, like, a tight, like, long sleeve shirt. I wore those. It was the most modest thing I had. And I went looking for a scarf. I went to multiple stores. I went to, like, a Target, a Kmart. I don't even remember what else. Like, I went to a bunch of stores. I think there was, like, a Rainbow or something. It doesn't matter. I could not for the life of me find a scarf. And I started to panic. I was like, you can't go into a mosque without a scarf. Like, what kind of a harlot are you? So I was about to give up. And then I went into this thrift store that was near where I was. And I started looking around there for a scarf. And I couldn't find one. And I was like, fine, like, maybe I'll go at another time. Like, this is a sign, obviously. And then I walked past this bin of fabric. And there was, like, this shiny fabric at the top. And I ran my hand over it. And I pulled it out of the bin. And it was a prayer rug. And I was so shocked to find a prayer rug, like, randomly. Like, I couldn't find a scarf, but I found a prayer rug. So, yeah, I took that as a sign. I took that as a really big sign. So I bought the prayer rug, and I set off for the mosque. I went to the mosque, and when I got there, they'd just gotten done with their Friday prayers. And I didn't realize it. I didn't know, like, Friday was, like, a special prayer day, or I would have tried to go on a different day. Because as I got there, like, all of the women were, like, pouring out in, like, their long black gowns. And, like, a lot of them were, like, wearing niqab. And, like, they were just, like, elegant and beautiful. But I was also really scared. Like, I had no idea what was going on. Why they were pouring out. Like, I had no idea what was going on. And so I just, like, hid and waited until they left, and then I went into the mosque. And there I met a Muslim. He was very kind, and he answered some questions for me, and then he brought me to the imam. And this is what Henry's doing right now. Just a quick break. She's just being a pain. So, so then I went to talk to the imam, and he, like, told me some of the basics and answered some of my questions. And then, he gave me, like, a helpful, like, handbook for how to pray and some other information and a Quran in English. So I went back home. I started reading it. I was then, like, connected with another person who converted. She was a Mexican convert. And actually, we say Revert. In case anybody isn't a Muslim and still watching this, we say Revert. So I became friends with her and this Mexican Revert and this girl here, and she helped me learn how to pray, and she taught me how to wear hijab, and she helped me find, some dresses and more modest clothing. It was really nice. Okay, there's more, but that's a 10-minute video, so stay tuned for part 2.
My beloved brothers and sisters, Islam teaches us to be kind and respectful to everyone, including non-Muslims. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ showed kindness and justice to people of all faiths. When you treat non-Muslims with honesty, fairness and compassion, they will see the beauty of Islam through your actions. Sometimes your behavior can teach them more about Islam than words ever could. A smile, a helping hand, or forgiveness can touch hearts and make people curious about your faith. Living with strong Islamic values means showing patience, humility, and good manners wherever you are. When you are truthful, respectful, and kind, people will notice the peace and discipline that Islam brings into your life. They will see how Islam makes you a better person, someone who doesn't lie, cheat, or harm others. This can inspire them to learn more about why you live this way and what makes your faith so special. The Quran teaches us to deal justly and kindly with those who do not fight or harm us. Islam is a religion of peace and mercy, not hatred or arrogance. When you treat non-Muslims kindly, you show them that Islam is not what the media portrays. It's a religion of love, mercy, and justice. Your kindness can correct their misunderstandings and soften their hearts. So always live as a true ambassador of Islam. Let your behavior reflect the teachings of the Quran and the example of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Even a small act of kindness can leave a big impression, and if Allah wills, through your good character and Islamic values, someone may be guided to the truth of Islam and find peace in their heart.